think it's another paper I wrote. In the management community, it's basically treating your employees as Christ would treat them. You treat them with kindness and respect, but at the same time, you need to reprimand them. Do it in a way that won't offend them or cause strife between them.
Plus 100 points. I'm proud of you. Good job, man. Clyde Park Avenue. I forgot your name, but I remember that I liked your band on Facebook. What's your first name again? Talk a little bit about your experience discussing the idea of work as worship. Clyde Park Avenue.
What? How do you feel about work with worship?
Work with worship. It's a lifestyle, so instead of like just making it about it, and you can be glorifying to the Lord. Work. I'm guessing it's
All right, so I think the most important thing to understand for work as worship, what's my audio quality right now? Can you guys hear what I'm saying or not? Nod your head if you're with me. Can you hear me okay, Kylie Ma? Yes? Okay. I'm trying to judge how long the delay is to make sure that I touch on everything. Work as worship, the thing that I think is the most important to understand, some of the verses that I saw during the discussions were, you know, do all things to the glory of God. I can do all things through Christ. What I really want to make sure that you guys take away is the concept that work is what God called you to. If it's not the mission field, it is the mission field of your job. And to try and start with the discussion that if God puts you in a job, that's exactly where he wants you, and how you spend your time there is what the worship is. So far, so good? Molly, I see we're laughing. I'm just trying to figure out, is that the dog barking or the chickens?
The dog barking.
And you're really, like,
You're cutting in and out
you're
a lot.
really hard to understand.
It's not coming through very well?
We're struggling a little bit to hear you.
Aha.
I think it's our internet connection, but it keeps popping up. You have bad internet, and then we'll hear you for like 2 sentences, and then the next 2 will just like chop out.
It'll be delayed and it'll skip over words.
All right.
We hear the dog really well though.
So we have that going for us. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Get into groups of 3 in the classroom. The 3 that are not with me, Parker, Jennifer Jameson, and Megan, and Preston Kennedy. All right, I want you guys to start a group chat on the side here for the whole group. Post what your personality type was. And what I want to do is just try to learn a little bit more about what you learned. And if the audio is no good, we're going to have to try the group chat function. Tell us one thing you learned about who you would work well with. And if you're talking to people in a group, tell me how accurate you found the test to be for the other people. Did I come through okay with everybody there?
Yes, got it.
Thumbs up.
We're going to get it figured out, guys.
Heidi is in the classroom as well.
All right. So let's start with Parker, Megan, and Preston. You guys start the group chat on the side. You should be able to click through and pull up the group chat on your thing. Post your results and talk about one thing that you learned. The rest of you take a minute and do that in the class, and then we'll have a little bit of section where we talk about the results.
Okay, got it.
I'm a musician. Also, Jason Bourne. I was the protagonist.
very straightforward to the point. So we had to take the test again. What did you get? What'd you get? Yeah, I did. I took it before I was even in this class. Disney gift. What? Good. What is that? 16 personalities? Personality types. I'm this guy right here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. There he is. Jason Bourne. What'd you say you were? Executive. Oh, he's in the same. He's in the same one I am. He's entertainer. I think he was Rick Ryan. Oh, you're a girl. Adele.
I really want to be like my
Williams. Drew Barrymore. I have to be like a racehorse. Did your
I mean, everybody else is
like that. Like, I know, like, it's so fun to do that way, but.
us in here, all connected to the same network, we're taking the bandwidth and dividing them up.
Oh, like, knowing.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot slower.
I know I mean this. Oh, right. I will. Not at the expense of like other teams. I still like guarantee. And then my weakness though is like I can be like too sensitive and take it personally, and then bring it to myself. And I'm always like, oh, funny. Yeah, yeah. And
No, not close. I was worried about it.
yeah.
It's just like how many can't
Where are you from? You live in campus or you
Oh, yeah, I love it. I'm not afraid of it. Like, I'm not.
Like the party.
There are things where I sort of
Where are you?
I live in
Yeah, that's right. Mine.
I live in Wayland.
Where it's like, I don't have an issue.
It's 25 minutes.
I know mine's like 15, but it's way more fun here.
It's cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. There's sometimes where it's like.
So you rest of the party.
Yeah, I paid everything. All 3 days.
Why?
Yeah, free.
I don't get
I am dead.
whatever floats your boat.
You gotta look at the chat real quick.
Oh, okay.
All right, front row with the gray shirt on. What was your name again?
Noah.
What's that?
Noah.
Noah. Okay. Noah, what did you learn about yourself during this exercise, and did you find it to be accurate for other people?
I found out about myself that I am still an entertainer, and I guess that helped me a little bit. I don't know.
Antonio, did you land on a personality type and feel confident that it was the right one?
It was. This time I got the protagonist, so you know, I'm a superhero.
All right, we're going to accept that. All right, the thing that I want you guys to take away with is to return to that test often. Return to that test when you have a new group of friends, find out who they are and what they are like. The thing that I want you to realize is that God wired you in a certain way. And these personality tests have a lot of value as a manager. When you manage a group of people, when you work in a setting, even when you are on a team, you should know your teammates' personality types so that you can better understand how to serve them well. Working with groups of people can be really challenging. So you need to find out, is somebody in my world a personality type that just totally frustrates me and is really hard to get along with? If that ends up being the case, you can understand how to better serve them just by knowing who they are and how they see the world. Who had a friend that they were able to talk to and talk about, did that person measure up to what the test showed? Could you see those similarities? Does anybody have a comment on that? My friend sitting behind Molly, what did you come up with? Yep.
Kennedy, the one that's not in class.
So what?
The one that you said was not in
Oh, yeah.
class.
For that last question, like friend-wise,
Yep. Or anything you learned while doing this.
oh, I was also a protagonist, and the more I read it, I was like, dang, that's so true. It said like, I have like a strong personality, and like I like people working together without conflict, but I'm not afraid to like I'm not passive, so I don't care, like I'll just like say what needs to be said, or like, but I also care about emotion. We were talking and we agree with each other's, like we can see that already, how they're accurate, so.
So you don't mind conflict at all, right? For you to have a little shouting match with somebody or a little bit of an elevated conflict, it's not a big deal, right?
Oh, I don't know, like, I mean, it's more like confrontation, maybe not like a yelling match. I've never like had that
I
like
love
an issue with someone like that, but confrontation doesn't scare me, so I'm not afraid to like go up and solve something.
That's awesome. See, I have a group of friends that like when they get together for dinner, they're all kind of shouting at each other like, hurry up and get that fork, and you guys are supposed to clean this up. And like for me, my personality type, I'm just wide-eyed and I'm like, oh no, I don't want anything to do with conflict or trouble or fights. And some people thrive on it. So even one of the challenges I have with my wife is she likes to have conflict, and I would rather agree with her about everything just because it's not my nature. And only through personality testing and profiling can you get a feel for, okay, if there really is these 16 personality types, there's also something called an Enneagram, which is another personality type. They're all really valuable. And I would encourage you, especially in this forming years of your life, to get a feel for who you are and to try to understand better who the people around you are. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, for sure.
Van Vels, I'm feeling more confident about my audio. Is it feeling a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yes. You know,
Are we you on the
We
screen?
only can see ourselves.
you can only see yourselves.
Yeah, which is weird.
I don't like it.
There it is.
There.
Yay!
Can you see me?
Yeah.
You guys want to see something hilarious, just so you get a feel for my world? So
Yeah.
today I was like, all right, I'm getting a whiteboard, and here's what I built so that I could have that golden view of my face where you guys would see me and think I was skinny because it was coming from up high. Here's where I'm working. I'm rolling the straight missionary van, 15 passenger white.
That's the dog doesn't bark.
This is my office.
Oh my God.
It's legitimately like almost like the size of a coffin. There's my house. And then, yeah, we're in the middle of the rainforest. Which is really kind of cool that that is how we are communicating today, right? Hello.
Hi, Matt. How are you? I heard your voice.
Oh, this is so fun.
That is so neat that you could join us from Belize.
And then, outside of having to put one dog in the back of a van because it wouldn't stop barking, I'd say this has been pretty professional experience so far.
That's okay. The students will learn a lot, I'm sure. Have a great day.
Thank you for stopping. All right. So we talked about personality tests. You guys can all see that that's something I want to see on the final paper. And I want you to keep on revisiting it so that you can understand more. Do you guys want to take a couple of more tests as a class so we can break them apart together and further understand that? Is that something you think is valuable? Yeah, look at us, all best friends learning together. All right. The 4 functions of management: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Those are all things that I'm going to want you to write about in your focus organization. That's really what we spent most of week 1's reading in the Learn Smart talking about, right? Was those functions and how do we do it. If I was a traditional teacher, I would make you memorize those and put them on a quiz, but that's just not how I work. What I want you to do is to make sure that you understand that all of those functions are part of a manager's job. And that's only profound once you get into management and you realize that the managers that only do planning are not good managers. The managers that only motivate others but don't have a good system in place are not good managers. A really solid manager is going to be able to take those 4 functions and really make sure that they work across all areas. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, we're winning. Nodding heads. Megan George from way downtown, nodding her head. Preston, are you happy? This is so awesome. Parker, are you happy? This is the best day of my life. All right. Work as worship, we covered. Personality test results, we covered. The 4 functions of a manager, we covered. Chapter 2 is all about culture and values. I think that you guys will really find the most value in this. I make you watch a movie in this class probably in week 3. It's called What is Your Why? What we found, all of the research has found about your generation is that you need to know why you're doing something or you don't care about it, which is why some of you don't like Connect. You don't understand why you have to do it, how answering those questions in the book is going to make your life different, so you hate doing it. It's also kind of awesome that if you guys go into a company, you're going to have to be really good at explaining to people why you exist and why you do what you do. When I was in window cleaning and trying to motivate people that did window cleaning for a living, if their only goal was just to clean people's windows, that usually isn't enough. There has to be a deeper why behind it. And that's how you build the culture of an organization, right? So you're going to watch videos about a couple of different organizations that have a good culture. The best way to define culture, especially organizational culture, is just how a place feels when you're there, right? Grace Bible College has, or Grace Christian University has a culture, right? The halls feel a certain way, the professors act in a certain way, the people talk in a certain way. That's the culture. Who is in charge of creating that culture, right? A lot of times it starts with the leadership, and the leadership hires people that fits a culture. And the reason why we all work at Grace Bible College is to help change people's lives and prepare you for, you know, our mission statement: graduating godly individuals prepared to serve Christ in society. That's why we do what we do. Everything will fall back in line to that one thing. So as you think about whatever your focus organization is, think about why they do what they do. A lot of you are on the sports teams at Grace. Those of you that have a team captain role, or part of that role, is it just to win games, or is there a deeper reason why you guys are out on the field or out in the gym? a great manager or leader will help find those things and create a culture around it. Does the volleyball team do anything that keeps things fun that you could say is part of the culture?
As in general, we're a very just goofy team.
You're a very what?
Just a goofy team in general, so I feel like we just have a lot of fun, but
We're not serious at all.
we're not very serious. No, we'll go on, like for example, this last trip, we had this one girl said that she knew more about Disney than me, so Molly had like a Disney game show, and we just all played it, and so we'll just do fun stuff like that.
Kylie did lose.
I did lose. I took second. Well,
Kylie
I
doesn't.
lost to the elf.
Kylie, you don't lose things. I'm not okay with that. It is, I think that's maybe the best way to define it. It's the goofy little things that a group does that defines them, right? So like, I don't know, your band, Clyde Park Avenue. Who's in your band?
It's myself, Nathan Conroy, David Schrock, and Christian Storms.
Why do you want to make music?
We want to make music because we want to spread the gospel in a different light than what is normally done in a worship setting. And we kind of have taken that and been like, we don't really want to be in a church, and we don't want to make, for lack of a better way to put it, Christian music, because that's not what we're about. We're about creating a community within ourselves and within the people who listen to our music. And we want them to know and understand there is a different kind of hope than what is being progressed about in general music. And so we want to go into a secular music industry and create music that is hopeful and is challenging for people to think about and for them to accept.
What an amazing display of what it means to know who you are at your core as an organization, right? How do you celebrate things? So part of reinforcing culture is, as the leader, you have to find ways to reinforce it, right? So if somebody does something that's right in line with what you want your organization to look like, how do you celebrate it? With me, when I was working in the States, I always had little gift cards that I would give out to people. So if I caught you doing something that was in line with the culture that I wanted, so if it's window cleaning and somebody goes out and cleans an old lady's windshield because she's really concerned about that and she really wants to, it takes a little bit of extra time, but she gets something free added on that makes her feel like she got lots of value. If somebody came back to the shop, we'd have a talk about our day. And this is where all of the little meetings that you have as a group, volleyball should start having a 10-minute meeting before matches or practices that just talk about or the things you want to define your culture or your group by. Clyde Park, how do you guys reinforce your culture, or what kind of organized methods do you have to stay on track with the gospel and to stay on track with other people's lives outside of the music? Do you have anything like that?
Not specifically with our fans, because we're still kind of a small band, but with each other, we take, before any rehearsal, we'll take like 5-10 minutes, and we'll sit with each other. We'll be like, hey, this is what we're going through. Like, we'll talk about what life looks like, especially if it's been a good amount of time since we've seen each other. So we'll get together. We'll be like, hey, this is what we're going through. Or after show, we'll meet together and be like, hey, I saw you doing this, interacting with these people in a specific way, whether it's before a show, whether it's after a show. And we'll just kind of give them a quick little shout out, be like, hey, this was really encouraging to see, and this, you're really doing well with what we're about.
That's awesome. Preston, are you on a team or a group or a workplace? Do you have anything like that you're doing right now? Oh, I muted you. Hold on. I have all the power. All right.
I'm on the basketball team.
So when you guys, has it started yet? Are you a freshman, or can you speak?
Well, I'm a junior. So I'm a transfer.
Okay. So let's say that tomorrow you're in charge of the basketball team, whether it's coach or captain or whatever. Chapter 2 is all about what are the little things that we can do to keep the team really excited and to have everybody working towards similar goals. So basketball, we want to win the championship, right? That's really why we're there. Why else could you be there, and how do you reinforce behavior? Can we get a reputation as the bad boys of college basketball?
In terms of like being the top dog bad boys, like
no, I would be more concerned about like there's like don't mess with Grace Christian University. Those guys are animals.
Oh, I mean, I would just say just be sticking together as a team, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I would say like in the past, the teams that I've been on, just when we stick together as like a family, when we understand, like you said earlier, like when you understand each other, like their personalities and how to go about each other, like when things don't go right. I think sticking together is probably the best way to become an actual unit to actually like go far in the season, because I know a lot of teams that I've been on, like there's a lot of people that don't like each other, and then either like that will separate us as a team, and then it just happens to be like, okay, a lot of off court things will affect the on court things, and it just a lot of times just doesn't go real well. I don't know. So I would just say do a lot of things together as a team to keep us as a unit, and that will help us move forward in the season. So.
Oh, there's so much wisdom in what you say there. So then how do we pick out our core values, right? So if it's Grace Bible or Grace Christian University sports, are we going to pick out 3 core values that our team has outside of winning the championship that we all agree on? This is who we want to be as our behavior. Picking out 2 or 3 core values in your organization helps give everybody the guardrails for who you are and how you want to behave. At Shine, one of our core values was be a light. And that went back to Matthew 5:16. We had to celebrate people that would show the love of Christ by the way that they acted. So if you got caught doing that by the manager, you were celebrated and you were rewarded. So we had be a light and servant leadership or servant leadership behavior. So if you served others well, if you served the people that worked for you well, you were celebrated. And then excellence is the other one. If you got a review on Google that was 5 stars with somebody raving about the way that you treated them, you got celebrated and you got rewarded. So as you guys think about your focus organizations or organizations you've been part of, what are the things you're going to celebrate or you wish were celebrated so that you can create that kind of organization? Megan, are you on a team or a workplace that you can talk about a little bit?
I play basketball here at Grace.
And you were on the team last year, right?
Yep.
And you guys got a new coach, I think. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you guys had team meetings yet?
Kind of, yeah. A little bit.
Can you talk a minute about a way that a coach kind of displayed what the new group was going to look like, or how he tried to set the idea of the culture when he first got there?
Yeah. He really talked about like he wants to bring a new culture. That's really big this year because, you know, things were going the same every year for like a long time. So we're just trying to make things different, like work a little bit harder. We're doing a lot of extra stuff that we didn't do last year. So like working hard, I think that's a big aspect of this year's teams, like working hard for what we want and becoming a better team together so we can win.
That's awesome. And so one of the things of culture he might like is hustle, right? So every time you see somebody do an extra hustle, rewards them, shows everybody else that this is what it needs to look like. Does that give everybody a better feel for what culture is and how you can look at that as an organization? I'd say we're winning. How did the homework go this week? What questions do you have? How can I make it towards a better functioning homework for you next week?
Personally, having the video actually be in like the assignment we had was probably the best thing because it reinforced what was in the chapter.
So you like the videos? Universal, nod your head if you like the videos. I'll take that. Okay, so laid out wrong. Nope, it didn't take anybody like 10 hours. I looked at all the stats and I didn't see anything that was terrible. One thing that I didn't mention to you guys last week that I want to mention this week is when you're done with your one-page response to the discussion questions, post it onto Blackboard so that you could read that along with everybody else's. I know that those aren't there this week because I didn't tell you to. So from now on, I'm going to make a little space for the discussion questions where you have to talk about that in Blackboard so you can see everybody else's. The reason why we're doing these discussions like this is so you don't have to write response posts, right? Like we got to hear some really cool stuff about culture. You guys got a chance to learn a lot about personality tests and talk about them as groups. So I don't need you to write 2 more 150-page response posts. That's what the function of this class is. So whenever we get it together online, I'll do a little bit of just why it was important to me and how I worked it in my own life. I'll ask you guys some questions, and then we'll get out of here. We're not gonna drag it along. But it is important that if you're unhappy with anything in the Connect, this is a great place to talk about it. Just, you know, you can't just say, oh, I hate it, because it's schoolwork and it is something that is never going to be awesome. But I hope that I've organized it in a way that you don't feel like you're wasting too much time and you're learning some of the really valuable stuff. Questions or concerns for this week? So a lot of people said, you know, I'm confused about the due dates. Stick to Connect for the due dates. If I put the due date in Connect, that's where I really want you to keep it. This week I went in full grace mode, and as long as you get it in by tomorrow night, I won't mark anybody late, because were some first-time sinners. After this, I want you to follow the dates with Connect, okay? And if you don't make your date, I'll take a little bit of points away from you. I still want you to do all the work, so if you turn it in late, it's not the end of the world. But I also want to make sure that you stick with the dates as good as possible. Questions or concerns? This is a decent amount of time for everybody? Awesome. Then let's plan on doing this same thing next week. When I wake up in the morning, I'll set out a link to you with what time we want to do everything and how to get onto the Zoom conference. I will publish this one online, and then we'll think of a better way to utilize that chat function down the road. But I'm proud of everybody, and I'm hoping that we can continue to make this work. I would encourage you guys, is when I hang up, take some time and just discuss what's next, right? Like discuss if there's anything you wanted to touch on. Remember, you guys can text or email me with anything that you need. All right, have a great week, everybody. Thank you for doing this all for me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
You see the